How's it going, everybody? Welcome back, or welcome for the first time to Stonehearth. It has been about 4 years since we last played this game here on the channel, if not a little bit more. Last I checked, it was about 4 years though. And if you don't know what this game is, you're in for a treat. It is adorable. It is about management. It is about colonies. It has a story. And I'm so excited to be jumping back in to play some Stonehearth. Now, if you do know all about this game, then do feel free to skip around the video a little bit. We are going to be starting out today by introducing the game a little bit, and I'm going to be using this time to remember how the game works. I will make a point of putting some YouTube chapter things in the video description though, so you should be able to navigate around kind of easily. And if I remember to, I'll put some stuff on screen so you can get an idea of where to skip to once we get into the gameplay. But with that all said and done, welcome to, or welcome back to Stonehearth. Let's go ahead and start looking towards a single player game. I should mention, I do have some mods. This is the list right here. I will also try to link these in the video description. I don't know how most of these work. I'm gonna sort of wing it and we're gonna see what happens, but we'll see what happens and we'll see where that goes. Anyway, we will now save and quit to main menu. We will now go towards single player. And this is the story of a brave band of settlers from the Ascendancy, Rhea's Children, or the Northern Alliance. Now, the Ascendancy are earnest and hardworking, loyal and well-rounded. They are citizens, or rather, citizens of the Ascendancy chop, build, and farm, confident that the known world is theirs to inhabit. Rhea's Children are the people of the desert that learned early that to survive they needed each other and preferably as many others as they could reach. Now, visitors find them generous hosts with access to goods from all over the world. Or the Northern Alliance. Brave and hardy men and women of the North live for the sight of a new dawn over unexplored territory. Armed with compass and hatchet, they pride themselves on their tenacious adaptability. I'm kind of feeling like the Northern Alliance is where I want to go. So that's what we're going to be. A brave band of settlers from the Northern Alliance, a clan of tenacious explorers. Seeking new lands and adventure, they set off to temperate, desert, Arctic, or highlands. I don't think I've ever really played on a highlands map. I think that's coming from one of the mods, so I'm tempted to go for the highlands. It's definitely very different looking. It has uneven valleys and tall limestone cliffs with many lakes and rivers. It is the default home of the mountain folk, who we didn't see. So again, I'm assuming that's a mod that I maybe don't have. I'll tell you what though, I'm thinking that we might just go, even though the Arctic is favored by the Northern Alliance, I'm gonna go for temperate. And I'm gonna go for temperate because I'm currently playing Transport Fever 2 on the channel, and looking at Transport Fever at the moment, it's all desert, right? I want something, I know it's a completely different game, but I want something that just has trees and grass and it's nice and green looking. So it's gonna be a temperate. They're gonna be going to Darkmoor Forest, a location that is going to be what exactly? We could do peaceful. It's going to be a sandbox without any invasions or threats. I don't think we're going to be doing that. We could do gentle, where enemies are as challenging as a normal, but with a slower pace. Progression and events have longer intervals between each other. Wounds have a lesser impact on health. I think we're just going to go for normal, is what we're going to do. So Darkmoor Forest is a location that is sure to be an inspiring place to start anew. So when it comes to the roster, what is this? Crafting resources can be hard to find when Northern Alliance is not in the preferred biome, the Arctic. Do you still want to continue? Oh, yeah, I do. I might really regret that, but I'm going to. Now, we have to customize our party. And here's the cool thing about this. You can go in and say, this guy, for example, can have, you know, whatever hair color, whatever hairstyle, whatever skin color we want to go for. And I was thinking that we could probably randomize some appearances here and there. Also, facial hair is apparently a thing. That's kind of cool. Let's see. I kind of like this vibe, but I was thinking that what we could do is name some of my citizens after YouTube channel members. That's a thing you can do on the channel, by the way. There's a join button that for like $1, you can get early access to a bunch of the videos. I think this is the first time I've mentioned it in a video, but it's been a thing for like a month or two now. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is I'm not going to make you watch the process of making everybody, but I'm going to make some people. I'm going to get them the stats that I want them to have, and we'll name them after some YouTube channel members. And so after throwing everybody into a spreadsheet and randomizing it, we have Gray himself, Shady Fox, Johnny, Charlie G, and Chrissy Corner. I've changed some of the username formatting a little bit here and there. I think Shady Fox's username doesn't have a space in it, but I'm giving everybody at least some kind of surname, and I've just sort of randomized their appearances a little bit. The thing I was most focused on was making sure that we have a decent spread of abilities. So Gray, for example, has a great body. You know, it's what I know this guy. I work with this guy, so you're welcome, bud. Has a great body. Hearthlings with a high body stat will move a bit faster, attack harder, and live longer. This will influence muscle, speed, and stamina. Shady Fox has a great mind. A high mind stat allows a Hearthling to quickly grasp mental activities such as crafting and keep their head clear. Johnny has a high spirit, and a high spirit Hearthling will easily befriend animals, stand strong against enemies, and craft exceptional things more often. Influences courage, willpower, compassion, and inspiration. Charlie also has a great body and great spirit, and Chrissy has a little bit more of an even spread, but I think that's important. I'm actually very tempted to try and randomize maybe Chrissy to have a higher mind and spirit, because if we can get the higher spirit, then we get exceptional things that might turn Chrissy into a bit of a crafter. They do have some perks and some pros and cons here. For example, Gray is intolerant. He's lactose intolerant and is pessimistic. Shady is a light sleeper and a glutton. Johnny has an animal companion, is a green thumb, and is gregarious. Charlie is a coffee lover. Me too. A bit of a sleepyhead and a hothead, and Chrissy is optimistic and a storm chaser. So I think that's a good spread. Honestly, I think we might just go with what we have. I don't want to micromanage too much. So let's go ahead and accept this roster, and then we have to pick how we're going to be starting things. And we have quite a few options in here. Now, we could start with a hunting party. It gives us 2 archers, a cook, some jerky, some morals, milk, bedroll, bear coats, mantle, and gold. Merchant caravan will give us room for a trapper, which I believe is how we can get some animals. That might be quite good. Food for days gives us a farmer. Having a farmer is probably pretty good, but I'm pretty sure we can make a farmer's hoe relatively quickly. I really don't remember. I'm honestly not sure where I want to go. Now, I think footman might be something coming from one of the mods. I guess we should probably do some reading on the right here to see what everything's about. So the hunting party, let's see. Hunting is a less reliable food source, but the archers can do double duty as town guards. A merchant caravan is a good collection of craft skills, but short on food. Food for days is a safe option for new players, though lacking in defense. Military expedition is a military-focused loadout for those preferring to ensure their safety before everything else. Money solves all problems is a risky but potentially very beneficial choice. It all depends on when and what traders arrive. And Metal Masters is for quickly growing your town's metal industry and military. Okay, so hunting is less reliable. Merchant caravan is short on food. Food for days, I think, is where I'm gonna go. Lacks in defense, but it's a safe option for new players. I'm not gonna say that I'm a new player. I'm not. But I think it's fair to say that after 4 years of not playing this game and not thinking about this game, and with a couple of mods going for the safe option seems like the safe bet. So let's begin. Now we do have to pick a starting location. The world seed is down here. This was randomly generated, and I'm just gonna go with what the game is throwing at me. And then essentially I just get to sort of pick a location and determine what's in that location. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to try and get a decent little bit of water. I'm kind of like in this space. My only concern is that there's essentially not really any minerals in here. So what I might do, well, I say that there's no minerals where my mouse cursor is. So for example, right here, there's a lot of wildlife, but there's no trees. But all these darker squares, that's all trees. So if we look at it this way, there's a lot of minerals in the mountains. So if I was to perhaps use this space, my thinking is I can potentially use these bodies of water defensively. So that might not be a bad idea. I like this as an idea. There's a decent amount of trees. It's a relatively open space. It's a bit far away from trees. That's a bit of a worry, but I'm thinking that's maybe what we go for. Maybe right here, a little bit closer to the trees, a bit more mountain to play with. That, I like the look of that. So that's going to be our location. We are going to start in the spring, just because I think that's going to make my life a little bit easier. And I think what we'll do, like I said, start a little bit closer to the trees, have them nearby, plenty of wildlife, no minerals, but they are going to be in the mountains, so we can go and get them. Let's have that as our starting location. We're going to settle right there, and we're going to get to it. And here we are. We have to place the town banner. I forgot how pretty looking this game is. It's so good. We've also got a, oh God, it zooms in quickly. We've also got a rabbit statue thing over here that we really probably don't need to worry about right now. I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's place this town banner. We've got a bunch of trees right here to play with. We have some rocks laying around and some plants as well. I think that's the edge of the map. I really like this location, but it's right at the edge of the map. Let's go for this space right here. Seems like a terrible idea, but it's what we're going to go for. It's right in the middle of absolutely nothing. I'm also going to pause the game down here, which is 1. I'm also pretty sure somehow, some way, there is an option in the gameplay settings here to enable game speed 3, which lets me speed it up even further. We can also increase the number of citizens. We can auto rescue. Actually, this might all be worth reading. So storage filters default to none. When creating a new stockpile or putting down a new crate, default filter is none. We don't need to worry about that. Mining zones default to suspended. We don't need to worry about that. Auto loot. When an enemy drops loot, automatically mark it for pickup. Auto rescue. When a citizen is incapacitated, automatically flag them for rescue. Now that could be good if I'm not paying attention, but I should be. So I'm going to keep that off. Auto loot as well. We'll keep off for now. Auto queue crafting for building. When starting construction on building, all furniture and fixtures for the building are automatically queued. Yes. And show hearthling paths. We don't, I think, need to worry about that right now. So we should be good. The one I wanted was game speed 3. It doesn't love game speed 3, but that's okay. This is the Ace mod. We can have a look and see, you know, do we want the game soundtrack? Do we want the Ace soundtrack? I'm going to keep the game soundtrack. Load games paused, absolutely. And then in here, we can auto queue craft recipe dependencies. So when crafting an item, crafters will check the town inventory to see if there are sufficient ingredients. If not, they will queue up orders for enough ingredients. That seems like a pretty big deal. Auto queue killed item crafts. When an item you own is killed, like a door, a training dummy, or a siege weapon, queue a craft order for a new one. I love that. That seems great. Auto queue required healing item crafts. When a hearthling receives a wound or a negative condition that can be treated with a specific item, queue a craft order for that item unless your town has it. Yes. Use quest storage. When a returning trader or other quest requires giving items or materials, create a dedicated storage for those items near your town banner so they don't get used elsewhere. Absolutely. We need space around the town banner though. That's fine. Auto enable quest storage. Yes. And update maintain orders. When queuing a new maintain crafting order, which by the way is basically an order where we say, hey, craft all of this until you have so much and then only craft it to maintain that number. Update the existing maintain crafting order for that recipe. If there is one with the new quantity, automatic queuing of that order example when it's a prerequisite of more refined. I don't know what this means. We'll just leave it be. We'll just, oh, there's so many more. Oh. Oh, okay. Auto harvest renewable resources. When a renewable resource you own becomes harvestable, automatically issue the command yes. Auto harvest tree stumps. When a tree is cut down, harvestable stumps remain. Enabling this automatically cubes them to be harvested. Yes. Okay. Default fertilizer. You know what? The rest of this seems fine. Oh man. There's a lot. There's a lot going on there. There's so much going on there. Let's autosave unique files as well, so that if the game crashes while I'm doing this, then I have, you know, more backups. And now we can play the game. Now that everything's set up and I know what it all means, we can now play Stonehearth if I can figure out how it works. So town info is down here. This is our overview. Voyage 51, I think is the name of the town. I'm not really too sure. I think we get to name it eventually. We have a wooden wagon as default storage. That's fine. We have my people right here, and I can tell them to do different things. They can hold, they can mine, they can gather, they can build, and they can do jobs such as crafting tasks. Everybody's going to do everything for now. Eventually, we are going to specialize them a little bit, and we're going to get them doing different things. But for now, they're going to be sort of left to their own devices. We do not have any jobs available, I guess. It's that I really don't for the life of me remember how this works, but we're going to learn together is what we're going to do. Anyway, let's, I guess, go ahead and start laying out some different things. So we can design buildings. There's a really in-depth building system in this game. Initially, I'm probably not going to play with that too much. I did go to the Steam Workshop and I did pick up a whole bunch of blueprints that we can play with. So if I wanted to, I can build some basic farms, and it looks like this. It's huge, but it looks great. It's going to need a lot of resources though, so we're not going to worry too much about it. We can just go ahead and place items. We would have to craft and place them, but again, we don't really have that option. So I think what we'll do is get started by just figuring out where everything needs to go. So we need zones, right? We need a stockpile. So over here, we're just going to create a 10 by 10 stockpile to begin with. It's going to allow everything, which is fine. And when I unpause, I'm pretty sure stuff will get moved over there. We have quest storage, which I'm going to put next to this. It's kind of weird looking actually, but that's okay. We'll do 10 by 4. Quest storage containers will be automatically created and placed in this zone. Absolutely. We'll do 2 of those for now, and that'll be just fine. We are going to need to harvest some things. We're going to need wood. We're going to need all sorts, really. We could gather and replant as well, which is kind of cool. But I think what we'll do is we'll start by saying, is this just gather trees, plants, and stones from the surface of the land? Let's gather those stones. Let's gather this tree. Let me, you know what? We'll clear out this entire little space here. There's a lot of plants in here I can get food from as well, I think. I think those look to be, what are you? Beetroot. Okay. So we can get all of those. We'll get those stones as well. And you know what? We'll get all of this. And that'll be a start. We can clear out a bunch of the space. Maybe that's something worth doing just again for the resources. So we'll just mark all of this to be cleared. And if we go into, so that was zones. This is crafters. We have nothing currently. We need a carpenter. We need potters. There's all sorts. Fighting and defending is something we can do eventually. But for now, let's just go ahead and run the game. Everybody's going to run around, do their thing. They're going to start grabbing the materials. They will eventually start holding them back, which is completely fine. And what I'm curious about is what's in here. So this allows everything, but what are the contents right now? So we have tools. We have a farmer's hoe, which, I mean, that's good. We can use that to designate a farmer. We have a mason's chisel and we have a trapper's knife. But first, a figure appears. A woman stands at the edge of camp. She wears the travel-worn blues of a scout of the library. Nobody saw her arrive, but it's clear she's been watching for some time. Welcome, traveler. Ronia, she says, pointing at herself. Her voice is strangled, as if to explain. She pulls her collar away from her throat, revealing a massive old scars. She gestures at her knife. I scout. Then she taps the star-shaped brooch on her cloak. For Valen's library. Ah. She speaks as much with her hands and eyes as with her voice. I'm glad you have come to study and settle. Now that I know you are here, I will send tales of your learnings to the scholars at home. She steps over to the banner and touches its blank center. First, though, you must choose your symbol. What future did you foresee when you began this voyage? Banner, huh? Her voice takes on the cadence of one reciting words spoken 1,000 times before. Valen created our alliance to share in plenty, adapt in hardship, and seek the horizon. The Northern Alliance will become one with the cycles and stars of Hearth. She tilts her head in inquiry. Which of our philosophies does your outpost most aspire to embody? Okay, so we have to declare what we're all about, is what we have to do. The Banner of Vitality will give us 25% more wood. Plants and crops grow 25% faster. Plants have 2 times the normal appeal. And we get an exclusive market stand, the Herb Seed Bags Merchant. The Banner of Strength will give us more ore, more stone and clay. Hearthlings no longer mind cramped spaces, and we get an ore and fuel merchant. The Banner of Cunning. Roads will give him 2 times the normal speed boost. Items will sell for more. Merchants bring more goods, and the same merchant will need less time before they can visit again. I think it's a toss-up between vitality and strength. I don't really think I want to try and build cramped spaces, although mining seems like it would be important at some point. But I think I'm going to go for the Banner of Vitality. And in terms of a settlement name, this is going to be a whole thing because I've got nothing in mind. And I'm I really, I mean, Wreckholm could be turned to Nerdholm. I'm pretty sure we used Nerdholm as a city, Skyline City at one point, though. We've got... I don't even know how to pronounce most of these. That's the problem. I mean, oh, how would... You know what? We'll not worry about it. We'll not worry about it. Let's just go for... we just Nerdholm is what we go for, just because it's easy. Yeah, Nerdholm is what we're gonna go for. Issue declaration. Outpost established. The proclamation of outpost. By unanimous agreement of the citizens, we declare Nerdholm to be an outpost striving to be at one with the environment. Trees produce 25% more wood. Plants and crops grow 25% faster. And plants have 2 times their normal appeal, which is fantastic news. So, we now should see everybody coming over, I think, to celebrate a little bit. At least I think that's what you're doing. That's good old Charlie. Yeah, Charlie is celebrating. Everybody's celebrating, and there's the banner. So, what I'd like to do is figure out who's going to be doing farming, who's going to be doing trapping, and who's going to be doing the masonry stuff. So, if we go into our town info and we have a look at the citizens again, we can change some jobs. So, for example, Charlie could be a mason, a farmer, or a trapper. Now, a trapper is going to want to be good with animals. There is someone that has an animal companion, though, is there not? Is this the animal we're talking about? Charity. Yeah, befriended by Johnny. Now, Johnny is around here somewhere. Is that Johnny? That's Johnny right there. If we have a look at Johnny, you do have the little animal friend right there. Your spirit is quite high, which is great. Or does that have anything to do with animals, though? Befriend animals. Yes, it does. Johnny, buddy, I think you are going to be... I think you're going to be getting changed out to be a trapper. So we'll go ahead and approve that, which is great. We need someone that can do crafting to be our mason. So if we look at our people again, crafting is essentially the mind skills. So we could go for Shady Fox, but I was mentioning that actually Shady Fox, now that I think about it, 5 and 3, that higher spirit right there, I think that's actually pretty good. So Shady Fox, I think you are going to be a mason. And then farming, I don't know exactly what that means. I'm not going to lie. So let's go for, I guess, Chrissy, because Johnny's going to be doing the farming. Yeah, I think yeah. So Chrissy, we're going to make you our farmer. So let's go ahead and approve that. And if we go ahead and speed things up, everybody should go around and grab their stuff, which is great. Chrissy is now a level 1 farmer, which is fantastic. So you're a little bit faster. Okay. Johnny is now a level 1 trapper, so you can do fish trapping. And the carpenter has unlocked a new recipe. Okay, well, we don't have a carpenter, so that's not all that useful. We do have a gift, though. Thank you, Ronia Whisper. That was a whisper. Ronia whispers. And from her gesture, it is clear she means for your hospitality and presence. She places a small pouch beside the banner. On its side is an emblem of the nearest large town, some days distant. Our towns are stars in the constellation of our people, she says. For you, from them, so that one day you will join those ranks. The bag contains 3 sheep milk, 3 nut bread. No, I don't want to hear it. 2 chunks of roast venison, 1 veg, and 2 fruity mead. I do love mead. That sounds delicious. Ronia rises and is now standing by the edge of the fire. She's written the town name and a brief account of its inhabitants in the white flesh of a birch bark shaving. Methodically, she commits it to the flames, which burn paler for a moment. Nerdholm, she intones. By Valen's wisdom and under the watchful eyes of the stars above, be committed to the records of the library. Those that matter will hear. She bows and makes to fade back into the edges of the wilderness. Farewell, she gestures. I will return for your stories. Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad Roni is going to be coming back. We need to figure out how exactly farming and trapping works. So, fish trapping is apparently something that Johnny can do. So, place a fish trap. Order the placement of fish traps. A fish trap can only be placed on water edges and will work more efficiently when distant from other fish traps and with lots of water available around or underneath it. So that's kind of neat. Does it have to be placed here? So it's kind of like, oh, that was alert mode. So it's kind of like the fishing piers in Banished, I guess, is my thinking here. So I could put a couple of fish traps like this and maybe another one here. And that might be a really nice spread. In fact, you know what? I'm going to put another one here. And let's see, can I get another one? No, that's a bit far away. I think 4 right there seems pretty good. I could maybe do 5 and maybe 6. I don't know if I can do that many of them, but we'll go for it. I should probably unpause the game, but I'm going to wait for a second because I want to do a couple of other things. So a trapping ground is going to let me capture different critters. We do have, well, looks to be a few chickens over here. I don't think we catch those. I suppose what we can do is set up some kind of trapping ground over here. I don't know how large it needs to be. 50 by 50 seems maybe excessive, but we'll go for it. It's a small animal trapping ground. It is, let's see, small animals like rabbits or squirrels produce meat and sometimes bones, pelts, or feathers. We'll go for that. It's a little wild. This area is very tame. Try planting trees to spruce it up a little bit. Not very many trappable animals will be found here. Okay, so perhaps we don't want to do that. And perhaps what we'd like to do is place it sort of closer to what's going on this way. So if I was to maybe do something a bit more like this, and we go for small animals, very wild. It's a veritable Garden of Eden, trappable animals everywhere. That's what we're looking for. That's much better. So my trapper is going to be really busy in that direction. Farms, on the other hand, we have some choices. We have farm fields and bush farms. The farm field can be placed on grass and dirt and will grow conventional crops. The bush farm can be placed in grass and dirt, growing ornamental and fruit-bearing shrubs. We also have decorative flower fields, orchards, timber farms, and under farm fields. Place a farm or, you know what? Grows mushrooms, that's fine. A lot of this is from, I think, the Ace mod. I'm pretty sure base Stonehearth doesn't quite have all of this. And I'm also certain from memory that there is an objectively good way to do farms, and there's an objectively good number that you can go for on farms. I do not remember what that number is, although it does seem like the numbers that I can choose from here are a little bit limited. So we'll start with something smaller. We'll do 5 by 10 here, and we can say fallow, we can say grassland, we can say sweet potatoes, prefers winter. We can say cabbage, which is spring and winter. So we'll do cabbage to start with. Its growth time is 3 days. It needs, let's see, grows a little bit faster with 30 to 60% daytime sunlight. Its preferred seasons are that. Current status, relative growth time will grow 33% slower than normal. Current sunlight is 90%. This considers both shade and current weather state. You know what? That's okay. We'll do it anyway. And we'll go and do another little farm thing here. We'll do sweet potatoes. It's going to take 33% longer. That's fine. And you know, I think we'll just do another one for grassland as well. It is going to be 11% faster. That's fine. We'll do all of those. As for the bush farms, I don't know how these work. Never really played with them, so we'll take a look. It looks like it's just going to be a big old strip. So what can I do with that? Let's have a little bit of a look. Fallow and winter moss needs a farmer level 3. Okay. In that case, we'll do fallow and just remove because we can't do it right now. And that seems good. We should be able to sort of run things a little bit. We should see the farmer coming over to start working on things. We'll hopefully see the trapper heading out, which I think we are. We get Johnny going out and doing his thing, which is absolutely fantastic news. And I'm pretty sure if we go into here, we can start looking at getting some workbenches for the mason. Now, this is going to require some stone, of which we have plenty. So let's go ahead and queue up 1 mason's workbench. And we should see somewhere, is that the mason right there? Are you who I'm looking for? No, that is a worker. Who is our mason again? Oh yeah, it was Gray, who is coming over and harvesting things, which I guess is fair enough. Have we crafted this yet? No. Manual make order. Crafting is Shady Fox. Okay, double click to modify this craft order. Oh, I can change the number. That's kind of cool. Drag this to change priority, right click to remove. So Shady Fox is going to be doing that. If I toggle primary crafting, this will be, I don't know. So primary orders are prioritized over secondary orders. You know what? I think it's fine. We'll go ahead and get this made. We can place it out into the world, and that's going to let me start making stuff with the masonry workbench. We also have a bone carving studio. Required by the mason to carve furniture and equipment out of bone. Okay. Okay. I don't think we're going to be doing that, but okay. Can I, by any chance now, start making some different bits of furniture? Because we are going to need things like beds, right? We are going to need places for people to sleep. That's going to make my hearthlings a lot happier. So I guess the question is, do I maybe just want to get some kind of building in here? Because I could. We have this lodge, which it doesn't really tell me what's in it. It looks like it has some beds in there, I think. Quite a large building. I have absolutely no idea. Oh, I keep hitting R to rotate things as well. I have absolutely no idea how to, I've got no idea how to bring up what's in all of these. This is a nice little cottage though, which is pretty great. How do I, oh, it's the, okay, I figured out how to do it. It's the, not the arrow keys, but the keys that look like arrows. The pointy brackets, I guess. This, I'm okay with this. It's definitely nice. I don't know if we have the materials to make it, but it does look like it has at least a bed in there, which I guess we should go ahead and do. So if I click this, what are we looking at? Wooden wall lanterns, a mean bed. It only has 1 bed though. I don't know if I want to do all of that. Let's not do that. Let's see what else we got. So we got these rustic cottages. We've got the lodge, which I think is going to require, let's see, comfy beds. Yeah, we're not making those either. Definitely not doing those right away. I suppose it doesn't matter too much. I suppose what I can do is place down, I don't know, something with a bit of size to it. Maybe some kind of basic house or a basic inn. This looks like it has a lot of beds in it. Let's rotate you around. It's got some signage. It's a pretty cool looking building. Got a nice little door right there. So we'll move this thing back a little to maybe there, maybe back a little bit further. We'll place it down. It's got some benches. It's got 4 beds, which is perfect. And I don't know if we can make any of this. I think we're going to need carpenters to make a lot of this, unfortunately. So we might have to lean into masonry is sort of what I'm thinking. That's kind of my worry about this, is we might have to lean into masonry as opposed to what I'm trying to do here. But we'll see what we can do. So if we look at the mason, what can you do for me? Can you carpenter's bone saw? Okay. So you can eventually get me a carpenter, which is great. Am I really gonna have to build everything myself though? Because it's gonna be a little frustrating if I do, but I'm kind of feeling like that's kind of where we're at, is I might have to not use any of these templates because I've gone for I picked a faction that doesn't deal nicely with the templates and the building types I want. So I guess the alternative is if we go to here and we go to new building, start a new building project. I am pretty sure there are some default building templates in here, I think. Yeah, Northern Alliance. This is what I'm looking for. So a turf sleeping quarters. I'm pretty sure we can build this. And it ain't much, but it's home. And I think that's gonna be good enough. So that is gonna need a mason. We can do all of this. Got 6 beds. Let's build it. This place over here, we're gonna not be building this place. We are gonna build this, and that'll be great. So if I go in here and I search for Northern Alliance, we've got the Mason's Hovel, we got the cottage for 2, a dining hall. We're gonna need a dining hall, but I think I'm gonna look at getting the Mason building going as well, which I guess can go, man, I don't know what way this is gonna go. I've really got no idea how to place these things. I think that seems like a good little spot for it. So that'll give us a mason next to the sleeping quarters. I don't know if everything lines up, but we'll go ahead and build that. And I guess we also probably want the dining hall at some point too, which again, bit of a different looking building to everything else. So we'll do the dining hall. I'm going to say here, we'll do the little dining hall and we'll go ahead and build it. Now I should mention, I can build these. That is a thing, right? That's all of this building stuff. You get to design all of this in this game. I'm not doing it right now because it will take forever. That's why I went and got all of the templates and all the blueprints from the Steam Workshop, because I do want to do some building, just not right now. We'll do it eventually. But what's also cool is you'll notice the Hearthlings coming over and placing down resources. All of this has to be actually placed and built. It doesn't just sort of randomly grow out of the ground. Your Hearthlings bring the resources and build the walls. You'll see, if I remember right, scaffolding will start to come together here. It's really, really cool. Building in this game is amazing. Now, what we're going to notice is that hopefully, in not too long here, we are going to have ourselves this Mason workbench, which is going to let me start crafting all of these things that have been automatically queued for the Mason to build. So if we could do that, that'd be kind of great. We also have a daily update. We have enough food, but not enough net worth to bring in another Hearthling. And we have, let's see, a colony of rabbits is on the way. I don't love that. Let's see, a friendly stranger approaches. Hello? Oh, there you are. I'm Bruno, the most famous and accomplished fisherman of the realm. Or at least of this realm. He shakes his backpack full of fishing equipment. I was trolling through the area, but I'm afraid I've sold the last fish to your neighbors. He shrugs and then suddenly straightens his face, thinking of something. Well, I'm actually also hooked on buying fish, no trout about it. Sometimes I buy just for the halibut. You could probably net some if you have, let's say, a trapper. Yeah, do tell. So, you want to get into fishing, huh? Well, of course, you can easily get some fish if you have a skilled fisher. Bruno points to the fancy fishing rod on his back. But if you don't, you can still have your highly nutritious fish by trapping them with fish traps. And I assure you, they are very nutritious and tasty and juicy. He looks distracted for a moment. Oh, right, fish traps. So, would you like to know the catch? Sure. You know what? No, we've already put them. No, yeah, I do need to learn about them. Okay, let's reel in that enthusiasm, shall we? I tease. I like enthusiasm. Anyway, it's quite simple. If you check with your trapper, you'll notice they can probably place a fish trap. These must be placed on the edges of water bodies like lakes or rivers. You won't even be able to place them in the wrong place. Okay, I think I get it. I think I get. You know what? Once set up, it'll work for itself. The trapper will have to check every now and then. Like other traps, fish traps will provide not only fish, but other things like fish roe. Just remember to not place them too close to one another. Okay, so we kind of already knew all of this from the tooltips that we saw. Speaking of which, we do in fact have the fish traps over here doing their thing, which is great. We have the trapper over here kind of just chilling, which is also great. And we should start to see everybody bring in all of the materials around to start building things. We have one little block that's been put down there already. So they should start coming together quite quickly. Although I'd really like to have a look at my mason to see what we can do for weapons. So an offhand stone hatchet requires level 2, but that is going to let me. Stone maul is level 2 as well. Stone maul actually does quite a bit more damage, although this inflicts slightly out of balance. Okay. Well, my thinking is we probably do want to start looking towards weapons. We do have a couple of hearthlings that have really good body stats, so they'll be able to defend us if and when we get attacked. But that's not really something I'm expecting right here, right now. So we should be all right. We're also seeing, like I said, the hearthlings coming together and starting to build all the individual little things here. This is what I was talking about. All of the blocks will be placed by the hearthlings, and as they start building up, they will have to start building scaffolding to actually be able to reach the places that they're trying to build. Now, I probably want to have a look at building construction real quick, and I probably want to pause the construction on this and on this, because we do kind of need to prioritize the sleeping quarters. I think that's going to be the one that we're really looking for there. So we'll get that going. And I want to see, do we have the mason's workbench yet? We still don't. We do have oak tree seeds though that we could place down. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those. We have beetroot seeds as well, so we'll do 1 and 2 of those just to keep us nice and covered. Shady Fox has a new title. I've got no idea what that's all about, but let's have a look and see what Shady Fox has managed to apprentice builder. Look at you. Not bad. Not bad at all. So here's my question. Why have we not crafted that mason workbench yet? It's right there. That needs to be, there we go. So now it's a priority. Shady Fox, I think, is running off to actually make it, I think. I think that's Shady Fox right there. Hold on, let's, is that, no, that's gray. Okay, is that's where, why am I so bad? There's Shady Fox. Okay, so you're gonna go collect some ingredients, and you've now made, or you're making, the mason's workbench. Beautiful. So now that you've done that, now that it's snowing in the middle of spring, I should be able to go and place a mason's workbench, which means if I just place it, I guess, I'm going to say over here for now. It's a little bit out of the way, but we'll put it there. That should mean that once it's placed, the mason can go ahead and start making all of the furniture, the doors, the windows, and the decorations for all of the different buildings. Again, that kind of requires this thing to actually be placed, which I don't think anyone is all too interested in doing right now. Be nice if someone would. Not gonna lie, I definitely appreciate it, but you know, it's fine. How are we doing on the dailies? We have the food, we have the net worth, we could get a new settler. Do I want a new settler right now? I mean, how many do we have? We have 5. You know what? We will take 1 more, simply because we are gonna be getting 6 beds in the sleeping quarters. We got ourselves, let's have a little look here. Scary. You're not very good at anything, unfortunately. You can do building though, which is great. And we are going to have to rename you, which I think is a thing. Can I rename you? Yeah, we can totally rename you at some point. So we're going to have to get another YouTube channel member name for Scary, which I'll do between episodes. Cause I think we're probably at the point where we can reasonably go ahead and leave it there for today. I think we've made a pretty good start here in Stonehearth. Might be a little bit challenging given that we're not doing all that much with wood cutting and whatnot, but I have faith that we'll be all right as soon as we get this mason's workbench in place, which for some reason they really don't seem to want to do. So you know what? I'm going to pause construction real quick and see if someone's going to go place that mason's workbench now. I'm wondering if that's the reason that this is going so slowly. Oh, and of course, just as I say that, we're actually being attacked right now. So we'll turn alert mode on, which should have everybody sort of run back to the banner. I'm kind of hoping that we can, no, turn alert mode on. I'm kind of hoping we can deal with this. We are going to get some injuries, but I think because we're all grouped together, we should have the strength to kind of take out the little, what are we being attacked by? Entlings. Yeah, we'll have the strength to take them out. This is kind of why I need the mason to start doing things, because this needs to be placed really, really quickly so that I can start making weapons. so that I can level up my mason. And there we go. It has been placed, which should mean that we are eventually going to see some of the masonry stuff come together. That means construction in this place can continue, and you can see the hearthlings are, now that I think about it, oh, there's the scaffolding. So they'll start automatically building ladders, and there's a little bit of scaffolding in here for the wall that they're putting together. I think the scaffolding does use materials, so having some wood is going to be good for us. But we should hopefully see the mason doing good work. In fact, what I'm going to do just before we wrap things up, because I do think it's important, is I'm going to go and say that the mason, if it's not set already, is not going to do building. So you're not going to construct anything. You're going to focus on crafting the stuff that goes into the construction, so that we actually have all the furniture and stuff for these buildings. But I think with that in mind, we can go ahead and leave it there for today. The mason's going to get busy building the windows and the doors, and hopefully eventually some weapons. In fact, I know I said I was going to leave it there for today, and I am, but I think once the mason levels up, it might be a really good idea to order up a couple of moles. So we're going to queue up 2 of those is what we're going to do. And they're going to be way down at the bottom of this list. I am still scrolling. There is so much stuff queued up in here. Good Lord. I think yeah, there they are. So can I move those to the top? Oh, it's going to take forever. Oh man. I do want them at the top of the list though. I think they need to be like kind of a top priority. So there we go. We'll get that going. The mason can start making, like I said, we got a little window right here. That'll all start getting installed in the buildings as the buildings start coming together. But that's going to do us for today. And for this first episode of a new Stonehearth series, first one in a couple of years, at the very least. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I have. I'm really excited to continue on with this and see where it goes, get some weapons in here and have a good time. But that's going to do us for today. No, we're not bringing someone else in right now. A curious stranger is going to have to wait until the next one. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.